This is KUGAN CASSIUS for iFull TV in association with MTK Global. We're in Las Vegas. We'd like to be joined by Chris EUBANK Jr. How are you, mate?
Good. Can't not be good in Las Vegas, man. Sin City.
So you've been out here for 3 weeks.
3 weeks so far, yeah.
Obviously we catch quite a little bit of, or snippets of your training in the Mayweather gym. So how's that been?
It's been great. You know, training alongside Floyd and you know, sparring sessions, pad work with Floyd Senior. You know, this is the best place to be if you're a boxer right now. You know, for training-wise, atmosphere. It's been fun.
Obviously, I've never asked you this before, but obviously you've spent a lot of time in that Mayweather gym, and you know we've seen you training with Roger and Floyd Senior. Has it ever come up for to take one of them as your trainer?
I've actually spoken to Floyd Senior a couple of times about coming over to England. He doesn't like to travel. He's old school, man. He's happy where he is. He doesn't really like to move about too much, unless you're paying him a lot of money, I think. So I don't know. We'll see in the future. But I mean, to be honest, I think this is actually it's a good place to even have a training camp. I might even start, because I'm not getting a lot of sparring out in England. Here you've got a larger pool of fighters to pick from. So I'm thinking about starting to do a couple of training camps out here for my next couple of fights.
I mean, what's the primary reason for you wanting to be here? Is it because it is the Mayweather name, and this is sort of the mecca of boxing in the world to come to Las Vegas? Is it that element, or is it specifically the type of sparring you're getting there? Or
I mean, first and foremost, I'm fighting October 7th, so any opportunity I can get to train in and around world level athletes and world-class trainers, I'm going to take. So there's that aspect of me getting myself prepared, and also the fact that this is Floyd's last ever training camp, or so he says. I believe him, and I wasn't going to miss the opportunity to kind of watch and be around him for his last hurrah. So yeah, that's why I made sure I was out here.
You're fighting in October against Yildirim for the start of the Super Series of World Boxing. Talk to me a little bit about your decision to go into it. Obviously it was, we knew about it before the Abraham fight. Obviously it was touted as the winner of that to go into the tournament, but yeah, what made you want to go into that?
I wanted a stable schedule. I'm tired of fights falling apart, not knowing when I'm fighting, pull-outs. I wanted a solid schedule, which I now have. 3 fights in the next 10 months, and on top of that, I get to fight for a world title. I've wanted to fight Groves now for a long time, and as soon as I heard he was in this competition, I knew I had to get involved. I knew this was my best chance to get a shot at him. I don't believe he would have taken a fight outside of this tournament, but in the tournament he has no option. There's a hell of a lot of money to be made in the tournament. That was a big incentive, and it's a huge production. They're putting out all the stops for this event here. So the publicity, the profile, everything is top notch. So it was a perfect opportunity for me, man. So I take it with both hands.
I mean, from a UK perspective, looking at that super middleweight tournament, it's fantastic that we've got 4 fighters in there, and the chances are, obviously, we already have Cox and Groves facing each other in that first quarter final, but the prospects of sort of yourself and Groves, yourself and Callum Smith, it could all very happen in this tournament, which is great for us.
It will happen. It will happen. I mean, we've all signed on the dotted line now, so we have no choice but to fight each other, and that's what I like. Knowing that I'm going to be 100% in the ring with these guys, being able to prove I am the best super middleweight in the world. I expect Groves to come out on top. against Cox, and of course I expect myself to dominate Anthony Yildirim. So we will be meeting in January, and I think that will be the biggest fight of the tournament. Even though it's not the final, that will be the biggest fight, I believe. And after that, you know, obviously a lot of people are expecting Callum Smith to do well and make it to the final. So that's another great fight, a great potential fight to be had middle of next year for me.
Have you found it in general a struggle to, before obviously entering this tournament, to sort of pin down that big fight that you obviously do crave? Has it been a struggle for that to happen?
You know it's been a struggle. You know I've had.
We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. That's what I'm asking.
Well, you know I've been calling these guys out, and I haven't been in the ring with them. You know, they've all made excuses. They've all said why the fights aren't happening, and you know, it's just nice to be in a situation now where I know I've got top-notch fights coming, and there's no two ways about it. And once I win this tournament, which I fully expect to do, there are no more excuses. What can DeGALE say? What can he tell me as to why he won't fight me? He can't, because I'll be the winner of the tournament. I'll have Groves' belt. I'll have the Muhammad Ali trophy. I'll be the draw. I'll be the name. I'll be the guy who everyone's looking to fight in the super middleweight division. So I fully expect that fight to happen maybe towards the end of next year. That's the fight. That's the fight everyone wants to see, really, me versus DeGALE, because we've got that history. We don't get along, and we've been at it for years now, saying both of us saying we beat each other in a fight. We need to just get in there and settle it. We have to. So I believe next year's the time it's going to happen.
Saw James. Have you seen James around here? He's here. He's around. But obviously spoke to him last night. He's had an injury. He said he'll be out again this year. So it is a fight that all boxing fans would absolutely love to see between yourself and James DeGALE. I think there's out of all the possible combinations of those domestic, not saying domestic because you're fighting for all world titles, but between the two British fighters, yourself and DeGALE seems to be the pick of them. So
it has to happen. We have to give the public what they are demanding. I'm ready. He's been given a contract before that he has declined through Matchroom. So, he doesn't want it. At some point, he's going to have to grow a pair. I'm gonna corner him. After this tournament, he can't run. There's no wiggle room. It has to happen.
So the plan is to sort of force yourself, if you believe they won't come to you, force yourself in a position where they can't turn a fight down. If you've got multiple belts or whatever, you're putting yourself in a position where basically they have to take the fight if they want to prolong and better their careers.
Exactly. After this tournament, I'll have the belts, I'll have the money, I'll have the profile. He's the one that will be or should be chasing me if he was a champion of worth, which I don't believe he is. Even after the tournament, I don't think he'll still try and find a way not to fight me. But like I said, he'll be in a corner and the fight will happen, or he'll get stripped.
It does seem every time I do speak to you and continue to speak to, the same names keep coming up, and also Billy Joe Saunders keeps coming up. I want to ask you something, Chris, about some comments that you made about Billy Joe Saunders and the Caravan. Can you make any comments about that? Because Billy Joe Saunders referred to that as being a racial type comment.
Nothing to do with race. I've got great respect for the jiu-jitsu community. I've got friends that are travellers. That comment was made because I was talking about in terms of where he is, I guess financially, nothing to do with who he is as a person. But I understand that culture is that's part of the culture. But I'm not even gonna. I haven't even. People talking about racist is stupid. It's stupid. It's not even worth. It's not even worth kind of thinking about. Everyone knows who I am. Saunders, another one that doesn't want it. Another one that's. What's he doing? You know, he's fought. He's once in a year and a half. He's got. Well, who's he fighting next?
Willie Monroe Jr.
Willie Monroe Jr. If he gets past him, which I don't think he will, then I mean, all I can do is hope he still has his belt by the time I finish this tournament. Because if I can't get the fight with DeGALE, the next biggest one domestically is Saunders. So hopefully that happens. But you know, he's so far out of my mind now. It's, you know, I can't keep thinking about him because it's not doing anyone any good. I've said I wanted to fight him. It hasn't happened. I'm moving on to this huge platform now in the Super 8 series. He's fighting some guy no one knows about. We're on different paths. If we cross paths in the future, great. If we don't, I'm gonna be extremely successful regardless.
So you're saying that you can finish your career without having that rematch?
Obviously, I don't want that. I want to give the fans what they want. I want to revenge the loss. But you know, the desire I had to fight him, you know, that's gone down now. That's dwindled. That's not really there anymore. Because there are so much more bigger things out there for me. And he can't say the same thing. I'm always going to be the biggest thing that this guy can get. I'm always going to be the biggest payday, the biggest name, the biggest fight that he will ever be able to get. That's not the same for me. So now I'm at the stage now. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, good luck to him.
Got to that point. You got to that point where it's just literally. Yeah.
I can't keep thinking about it. It's pointless. It doesn't do me any good. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
Chris, let's talk about obviously the big event in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena between Mayweather and McGregor this week. Obviously, people starting to filter in now from all over the world. Are you for this event or against this event?
I'm here. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm in the money. I'm in the money team camp. Of course, I'm for it. This is, you know, I've spent years in this city, and I've never seen it. I've never seen the buzz. I've never seen a buzz quite like this. Not even for Pacquiao. The amount of money, the amount of notoriety, the amount of hype, the amount of interest in the sport of boxing now because of this fight is it's unheard of. It's hard to even imagine it ever happening again in our lifetimes anyway. And anything that brings that much spotlight to the sport of boxing, if you're a boxing fan, you can't not be for it. Yes, McGregor has never had a fight before, but he's not just some guy off the street. People are talking like, oh, you know, people are trying to make the argument he doesn't deserve to be in the ring. You know, this man is a formidable fighter. He's knocked out elite level MMA fighters with his hands. He knows how to punch. He knows how to move around an octagon, a ring, same thing. You know, he's a very capable striker.
Do you give him a chance in the fight, Chris?
Everyone has a chance. So yeah, everyone has a chance.
There's a lot of boxers or people in boxing saying he hasn't got a chance.
I mean, he has. He has to have a chance. If he didn't have a chance, it wouldn't be a fight. But the chance, in my opinion, is quite small. I mean, it's hard for me. It's hard for me to see any different because we don't have anything to go on. We don't have anything to base our our predictions on. He's never been in a boxing ring, so we don't know what he's going to bring to the table. We know Floyd, we know what he does, we know how incredible he is at defensive fighting, we know how accurate he is, we know how fast he is. You know, we don't know anything about McGregor, so it's hard to give him, it's hard to say, okay, he's going to beat Floyd, when so many other elite level boxers couldn't even hit the guy. But then the argument is, okay, so the best boxers in the world can be, and maybe it's going to take some crazy Irish MMA fighter to do it. Maybe that's what's going to be the factor, the deciding factor in beating Floyd Mayweather. I believe personally, the only way Conor McGregor has a chance is if he's going into that ring truly believing that he can win. If there's any doubt in his mind, if he goes in there respecting Floyd, if he goes in there trying to, you know, play chess with him or figure him out, or he needs to just go in there and try and put it on him as hard as he can. He's the younger fighter. Some would say he's the stronger fighter. He needs to just go all out. That's the only chance I'd give him. I don't believe he can win by points. I think the only way Conor would win this fight is if he catches him with a punch and knocks him out, and Floyd doesn't get caught. So that's why I say his chances aren't great. But regardless of that, I still think it's going to be a great fight to watch. I'm going to be there, and the event, the hype, everything around it, I expect it to be an action-packed fight. I think Floyd's going to go out there and try and make a real statement.
What have you made of the whole Malignaggi sparring situation? Obviously, Dana White released some footage, 30-second clip. Malignaggi said it was edited heavily in McGregor's favour. What have you made of that whole situation regarding the sparring? Him walking out of camp and saying he wants to fight him now.
It's all just to add to the story. You know, it doesn't mean anything just because Conor has beaten up Paulie Malignaggi. It doesn't mean that he's all of a sudden now he's this great boxer that's going to be able to take on Floyd. It's just an extra little bit of hype to bring up the fun. Of course, Paulie's going to say he wants to fight him. He wants to make money. So yeah, it's all fun and games at the moment.
Is it something that you thought of doing? Crossing over at some point in your career?
If I get offered enough money, sure. But you know, the things that these guys have to go through and deal with, it's not fun, man. I don't want to get elbowed in the face. I don't want to have some sweaty, stinking guy rolling around on top of me with his arm around my neck. It's not fun. And they don't get paid as much as boxers, nowhere near as much, and it is much more dangerous. Before I started boxing as a kid, I did do MMA. I did grappling, Greco-Roman wrestling, jiu-jitsu. That was just something I guess my father put me into just so I had that skill, just so I knew how to defend myself. So I actually do have a fairly decent understanding of the sport. I know how to do arm bars and leg locks and all that stuff. So if I wanted to transition, it wouldn't actually be that hard. But, you know, to be getting elbowed in the face, you're going to have to pay me a lot of money.
Do you think we're going to see more of this, though? We saw Michael Bisping half calling out Tony Bellew the other day, and I mean, you know, James Toney did it with Randy Couture. It has happened in the past, but not at this level. I mean, you're talking about the two biggest stars in sports combat fighting each other in different sports. So, but can you see this more happening now?
I think so, but I think it would be more the MMA guys coming over to the boxing world, because they only have, all they have to do is cut out the things that they've been working on and just focus on their striking, which they already do anyway. Whereas boxers, they have to, if they were to cross over to MMA, they got to learn how to wrestle, to grapple, knees, elbows, stuff that they've never done their entire lives. They have to then just all of a sudden start doing, which is a lot more of a demand than an MMA guy just going into a boxing ring and just not using his knees and his kicks and his elbows and just punching. But yeah, so I mean, it all depends on how successful this fight goes. If it's a good fight, then I definitely think you could see more fighters crossing over and calling out different guys from different sports.
Okay, so when do you head out to Germany?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm back in England beginning of September. Germany, it's not a time difference really there. It's not something I'd have to get acclimatized to. So I guess I'll probably actually go out there, unless I have a press conference. I'll probably go out there maybe 5-6 days before the fight, if that. I'm looking forward to it. This is only my second time fighting outside of England. I fought in Denmark once. Horrible experience. Got food poisoning. Fought a guy named Tadeusz Jonkas. Literally, I was sitting on the toilet 5 minutes up until I walked out into that ring. It was not fun. So I haven't had a great experience fighting abroad, but Germany, went there for a press conference against when I fought Abraham, and I got fans out there. It's a nice little spot. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going out there and fighting on foreign soil.
Obviously, there hasn't been a broadcaster announced for this yet. Do you know anything about this?
I still haven't been told who's going to broadcast.
Does that concern you at all?
I'm getting paid. And I'm in a Super 8 tournament, so I can be fighting in the phone box. It doesn't matter to me as long as I get that win, as long as I get my check at the end of it. I'm happy. But obviously, whether it's Sky, whether it's ITV, if one of those guys, one of those establishments broadcasts it, then great. But for me, I've just sort of focused on performing.
Okay. Have you got anything else you'd like to add?
I think we've covered quite a lot.
You've always seemed like you've got something you do want to add.
Yeah, I do, but listen, I can talk about anything, but you've just got to ask the right questions. I'm not the type to just be like, okay.
Are you implying that I haven't asked the right questions?
No, you have, but I'm just saying, like, if you wanted to ask something outside of boxing, then go ahead. But I'm not the type to just start talking into the camera about what I'm doing or life. You gotta get it out of me.
What? You happy?
I'm happy. Listen, I'm in Vegas. Beautiful girls, beautiful gym, staying in a beautiful hotel. I'm in shape. I'm on weight already. Can eat whatever I want. Going to these beautiful buffets every day. Crab legs and steaks and turkeys. I'm happy, man. I'm happy. I'm ready to get in that ring.
Dad, all right? I ain't seen him. I know he's around here somewhere.
Yeah. He flew out here about a week ago. And I'm with my brother and sister, and yeah, he's doing well. He's actually training. Yeah, he's getting into shape. I guess you guys will have to wait to see why.
Well, there's been the talk of, there was talk of your dad and Nigel, then Nigel and Steve, and then I'm assuming it's got to do with the same thing.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible. That's all I'm going to say.
Just a final thought on Canelo Golovkin coming up September 16th. I'm sure you have a keen interest in that.
For sure. Yes, I am a super middleweight right now, but those are two fights in the middleweight division that, after this tournament finishes, I will be wholeheartedly pursuing. Yo. That's me, man.
Right, we getting ready to throw it away.
This guy's about to steal my food over here.
You lucky, man.
You saw PF Chang's that you tried to steal it, though?
Nah, I'm going to give it to a homeless person, man. I got plenty of money, man.
There's a lot of sticky finger people in Las Vegas. One of my boys took a girl home a couple of days ago, and obviously drunk, come out of a club, partying, drinking with this girl, took her back to his hotel room, woke up the next morning, she's gone, his Rolex is gone, his wallet's gone.
That sounds painful.
Even his bottle of Moet, she even picked it up and walked out of the room with it. So very, very careful out here. All you Irishmen coming out here, you're about to get all boozed up and go nuts for this fight. Watch the women you're talking to out here, man. Make sure you're not too drunk when you're taking girls out on dates, because a lot of these, anything can happen. Vegas is a very fun city, but it can be very dangerous. So be careful.
All right, listen, Chris EUBANK Jr., thank you very much for talking to IFL TV, and like I said, best of luck in the rest of your camp, and I'm sure we'll run into you at some point in the next couple of days. So appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
All right?
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.